So I may have made a bad decision. Well, to some people it would be a bad decision, but probably not to you guys. You guys will probably love it. Anyways, what's going on is we're doing an unboxing today, and not just any unboxing. It's the Master Grade Extreme Unicorn. So obviously this is a really big box, pretty big kit. In terms of the box size, it's about on par with the Master Grade Sazabi Verka, or even most perfect grade Gundams. So specifically, we're going to be talking about two things today. We're going to see what's inside the box and decide whether or not it's actually worth it. So let's go ahead and open it up. And so this is what it looks like inside the box. We have plenty of runners. We have our LED strip right here, as well as the LED actual powering unit. Underneath here, we can see some of our water slides. And one of the biggest disappointments, without even opening the runners, a lot of people are already disappointed because right here, we got stickers for the V-fin. This kit for retail is over $200, and we don't even get color separation for the V-fin. I mean, the cameras and eyes and stuff, I understand, but the V-fin, we get this with pretty much every unicorn except for the PG unicorn. And you would think that if it was extreme that they would do something different. So I'm gonna go ahead and open up the runners and we'll get talking about them. First, let's talk about all the documents we get inside the box. We have a flyer right here for a bunch of games that are out now, such as Gundam Battle Gunpla Warfare. On the back, there's an ad for Mobile Suit Gundam Extreme vs. Maxi Boost On. That's a mouthful. If one of you guys has a PS4, feel free to take this code right here. I don't have one, so I don't really care to use it. And of course, we have our manual. The manual has this art with a sort of a camera blur effect zooming in on the unicorn. Pretty cool. We have a lot of pictures talking about the different features. It's actually just this one page so far. Looking through the different runner lists, it doesn't look like there's a lot of parts that aren't used, which is pretty cool. That means a lot of this kit could have been developed from the ground up. Here it has some information about the LED kit. Batteries aren't included with this kit, so you probably should pick some up before you start building it. You've got some documentation about the MS base, and here in our middle section we have some history of the Unicorn Gundam. It actually looks like an interview of Hajime Kotoki, the designer of this kit. And at the very end here we have our color chart and our decal placement guide. There's going to be a lot to do with this kit just because there are so many parts. Not just the Gundam, but also the MS cage and the different accessories. So going straight into the kit, here we have our A runner. This is going to be the more colorful one out of the bunch. Hardly colorful, they're all very dark. This looks like it has the foot armor, the backpack, parts of the gun right here, parts of the waist. Nothing crazy sticks out so far. And here on the B runner, it looks like we have our fixed position trigger hands. We have the frame parts for the pelvis. Here is the top of the waist. Here are some closed position hands as well. Here is the neck area. And these parts right here look like they could be for the cockpit. And of course, our action base connector. One thing I see right here is this part looks like it goes for the eyes. I think it'll add a little bit of contrast to the eyes as opposed to just using a sticker. So it could be that all the stickers except for the V-fin are optional. I mean, of course, we need to have those holes in there for the LED to glow through. Next, we have two C runners. These are going to be the main frame parts. There's a bunch of parts for our leg, all in this dark gray color. So I actually have the Master Grade OVA version here, and I don't know if you can tell, but there is a pretty big difference. This is more of just a standard matte gray, while the frame on the OVA version, and I assume the previous Verka and other unicorns, have more of a gunmetal finish. I kind of prefer this version, however, I do like how matted this new runner is. In other words, I like the color of this, it's just a little bit too shiny for me. Then we get a D1 and D2 runner. This looks like it's going to be mostly for our shields and or Gatling guns. These right here look like they're probably the barrels of the guns. These right here look like links for the shield. This also looks like it could be part of the shield. And we have a vernier right here. And next we have our E runner. This is going to be the first white parts we see. Comparing the color on this to the previous unicorns, this does have more of a pure white finish. If I bring this close to the light and compare it to this other unicorn hand. I'm not so sure how well you can tell on camera, but this old hand actually has a more blue finish. Kind of has a cooler appearance. Doesn't really show up well on camera, but you can see it in person a little bit. Anyways, this runner is going to have a lot of our trademark Unicorn features, such as the split V-fin. These will part together to form the horn. This right here is the horn, but it does not split apart, so this is going to be for our Unicorn mode. Here are the sides of the head. Here we have the face mask for the Unicorn mode. Hand guards, of course. We have some parts for the torso, parts for the torso, more parts for the torso. Here we have the top of the head. Right here we have our face mask for destroy mode. And there's two things right here. If you haven't watched Unicorn Gundam, this is going to be a spoiler. So for one, we have Benaja Lynx ready to go into the cockpit. And this right here, if you don't recognize it, that's Benaja Lynx's dad. Dying. Yeah, he actually gets blown away and he dies. So it's pretty cool that they added that in there, but at the same time, why? Like, that's literally the last pose we get to see him in because he's getting exploded away. Next, we have our F runner. This is going to be a lot of the lower armor parts. Here we have our skirt armor. These two parts I actually can't make out. They look like they're part of the leg, but they also look kind of big. They might wrap around. These are definitely parts of the leg. This looks like our back skirt armor. This looks like our front skirt armor. Pretty cool so far. One thing to note that you can see on these parts right here is a lot of them are actually undergated. What undergated means is the plastic flows in from the bottom of the part where you wouldn't normally see it. That makes it so nub marks are harder to see after you assemble the kit. Next, we get two G runners. This is going to be more of the leg armor. So here we have the outside of the legs. This is going to be the back of the leg that covers the thruster. There's some more auxiliary parts. I believe these go to the ankle if I'm remembering correctly. We have a really small part right here, so definitely want to be careful with something like this. Make sure not to lose it, especially since it's all white. Next, we have two H runners. If my memory serves me correctly, these are going to be parts of the arm. These look like the parts that swing out to hold the beam sabers when it's in destroy mode. These are the beam sabers. This is another part of the arm. These are probably going to be part of the shoulder armor, and we have some hand armor as well, and armor for around the wrist. Next, I'm going to talk about the I and M runners together just because they integrate pretty much directly. The I runners are going to be the main part of our shield. We have the two halves that eventually will be able to slide apart and come together. We have some frames right here that go along the beam effect part, and the M runner is the beam effect part. So they kind of have this corrugated look to them that should help it catch the LED light when it shines through. Comparing it to the old MG shield, it does look very good so far. I always hated this part because you could see the white through the beam effect part, even though that's not what should happen. So I have high hopes for this shield combo. And of course, we get 3 sets of them. Next, we have our J runner. So this is going to be some clear parts for the inner frame. These are going to be some of the locations where the LEDs are going to be able to shine through. Some areas that I can identify off the bat are the backpack, most likely the face and head area. These are probably going to go on the waist. These might either go into the legs or shoulders. And here we have a waist part that looks like it actually holds some armor. Looking good so far. Looks like there's going to be a lot of areas for light to leak out from in a good way. And moving on to the K runners, we have some more clear parts. These look like they'll be for the leg. This might be for some of the arms. This might be for the tricky knee transformation. One thing to note is they do feel a little different. They're not necessarily like really hard, but they're not rubbery either. And that's because it's ABS plastic. So it's going to feel pretty similar to what we're used to on inner frame parts. Kind of that soft, easy to cut plastic. Should make it a little easier to clean up as well. Next, we have L1 and L2. So these are also going to be used for illuminating the frame. However, they do have a more frosted look to them. These are most likely going to be where the light needs to stop coming out of the mobile suit, as opposed to the previous clear parts you want the light to shine through. These ones actually aren't made out of ABS, so they're a little harder, a little more rigid, but they look and feel pretty good. And we have 2 separate runners of them, so they're going to be for separate areas. Next, we have our N runner. So the N runner is going to be pretty much just weapon parts. We have our bazooka here. It looks pretty similar to the previous Master Grade. I hope it's a little stiffer. I did have issues with the magazine staying in place with the previous Unicorn, so hopefully this is better than that. Next, we have our O runners. These are just going to be the ammo for the beam rifle. You can cut them out and they pretty much stack on top of each other, and they have a sort of a handle at the top that you can hold it at. I'm going to skip the P runner for now and move on to the Q runner. So we actually get 6 of these. That's That's the most duplicates I've ever seen in a kit. Looking at them, they're most likely just going to be parts for our Gatling guns. So you can kind of tell from above, but when you turn it to the side, you definitely can tell. We have a bunch of different barrels down here. And of course we have this link right here that kind of gives it away as well. So the remaining runners are going to be pretty much just for the MS base and the different accessories. So the P runner isn't actually a runner at all, it's a base for the MS cage. So as far as I know, it should be almost exactly the same thing, at least this part should be. We have the different areas that you can attach the action stand to. There's some areas to hold some of the accessories, and this is probably going to be where the LED sits in. But yeah, it looks like it's definitely going to take up a good amount of room on your shelf, so if you're getting this kit, make sure you're making room for it. Next, we have the R runner. It's actually R1 and R2 put together as one runner, but this is going to be part of the MS cage. Nothing special to look at here. Moving on to the S runner, this is where we get some details for the MS cage, specifically some fencing for around the edges. These will be really fun to add in once the MS cage starts coming together. This right here, I also believe is a little box to store some accessories, such as the pilot figures. On our T runner, we get some more parts for the MS cage. Nothing special to look at. They're all pretty boring, nothing really to talk about. Same goes for the U runner. These are also more parts for the MS cage. The more I look at it, the more details I can see, which is pretty good. At least building the MS cage won't be that boring. Then we have the W runner. This looks like one final part for the MS cage. I can't really make out exactly what this is going to be, but here on the bottom we actually get 4 standing pilot figures. Benager Lynx, Aubrey Burns, and I really can't recognize the remaining 2. But I'm sure some of you guys know, so you can let me know down in the comments. Then we have our X1 runner, so this is going to be pretty cool. So what this is it's a base for the shields. This lets us link the 3 shields together. This will let us link the 3 shields together for that kind of spiral shield combo, and there's also a stand that comes with it to hold it up. X2 is a duplicate without the connector for the shields, and we have 3 Y runners, so these are actually going to be the base portion. They'll link up right here in sort of a Y formation, no pun intended, I think, and they'll have adjustable height and angle and whatnot, like a typical action stand. We have our beam sabers. Nothing special here. They are a less saturated pink than we've seen on the Universal Century mobile suits, and I feel like I like this kind of pink a lot more. We have those full range motion manipulators. They look like just the standard master grade type, nothing special, but it is cool that we do get a set of these as well as the fixed position hands. And lastly, for parts, we get some poly caps. Now I'm not sure what these are for, but I feel like it's been a while since some poly caps have been in a master grade kit. Here is another look at the stickers. As you can see, for the V-fin, we do get a set of yellow or gold, so those can be used on either of the V-fins. We get some stickers for the eyes and the mono eye for the unicorn mode, and these look like they are stickers for the cameras for the guns. Along with that, we do get a pretty large sheet of water slide decals. So these look pretty typical of our unicorn. Nothing special, but nice to have in the kit. And the last thing to go over is the actual LED unit. So feeling this right now, it feels pretty fragile, so you want to be careful with this when you're building, but it does look like it would be easy to weave in and out of each of the parts, so hopefully that's not too crazy a job. And along with that, here is the actual power source. It would have been nice to see a dedicated power supply, like a USB power supply or something like that. I know with my Perfect Grade Exia, I got a third-party power supply, and that one is actually able to be USB powered. So the plastic on this feels pretty good. It's still really light, but the plastic itself still feels pretty nice. Have our on and off switch. Here is the battery compartment. Takes 3 AA batteries. This button right here, I'm assuming, is to change the mode for the lights. We do get a pink, green, and no color mode. These are some additional LEDs connected to some wires that I assume will be going onto the bases for the shields. These are going to be used to light up the shields when they're not connected to the body. And let's go ahead and pop some batteries in here just to test it out, make sure everything works. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and turn out the lights for this. Now there's going to be 3 different modes. The first one, when you turn it on, just the head unit will glow, and this apparently will glow for about 3 minutes before it turns off automatically. The second mode, the head unit will turn on, and then the rest of the body will turn on red. This is going to be our destroy mode unicorn, and on the third mode the head turns on and the rest of the body glows green, just like unicorn perfectibility. It actually looks like there's another mode where when you turn it on the head turns on and then the rest of the body glows red, and then it sort of pulses this red. Oh, and it looks like it automatically changes to green afterwards as well. However, the green doesn't pulse the same way the red pulses. Just kidding, it's starting to pulse now. Very Christmassy, I like it. Okay, so now that we've unboxed everything and gotten a good look at it, here's the important part. Is it worth it? So I kind of tried to break it down into the different parts that we're getting with the kit. Of course, we're getting a new unicorn kit, we're getting an MS cage, and we're getting an LED kit. Not to mention all the additional plastic we're also getting with the different accessories. So if you factor in the fact that it's a new unicorn kit, I would price it around maybe 55 to 60 US dollars. The MS cage can sell online anywhere between 40 to 45 US dollars, depending on where you get it. I believe it's mostly available as a Gundam base exclusive, so you usually have to buy it through an importer. The LED kit for the PG unicorn sells on P Bandai for 140 US dollars. So if we take this new kit where it's sort of newly designed, but it's still smaller, so it's using less LEDs, I'd probably price it around maybe 80 to 100 dollars. And we have an additional 2 shields and 3 or 6 guns that are coming with the kit. So that's a lot of extra plastic that's coming with the kit. So going off of just the kit, the MS cage, and the LED kit, a fair price range for just those 3 would be anywhere between 40, 85, 75. Anywhere between $175 and $205 US. Now keep in mind that's not even including the extra shields and the extra guns that we're getting with the kit. And Bandai does tend to charge based on the amount of plastic that comes with a kit. And looking online, USA Gundam Store has this kit on sale for $222.59. So in the end, do I think it's worth it? I definitely think so, just because not only are you getting all of these different parts with the kit, not only are you getting a bunch of additional plastic and accessories with the kit, but it's also a new line. So in a way, they can kind of set the price whatever they want it to be, just because this is going to be the start of a new series of Gundams that we'll be getting in the future. Now hopefully this is going to be at the higher end of how much Master Grade Extremes will cost in the future. Honestly, I feel like a lot of the price is coming from the LED kit. Bandai does charge a lot for LED kits. But yeah, for $222, I think it's definitely worth it because you're getting a redesigned kit with better articulation, quality plastic, multiple accessories, all the stuff I said before already. But do I think everyone should get this kit? Probably not. I think this is going to be more for the die-hard hobbyists, the more serious collectors, the hardcore unicorn fans, and people alike. But if you're just getting into Master Grade territory, or you want to pick up your first Master Grade, I definitely don't think this is the right kit for you. However, it could be in your backlog somewhere down the line. So with all that being said, I'm super excited to build this kit. I'm pretty much clearing out whatever I was working on already just to work on this because I just got it, and I want to get a review video out for you guys as soon as I can. So I'll be working on this for the next few days. Hopefully I'll be able to get a review video out for you guys in less than a week, but if not, it'll definitely be next week's video. So make sure you stay subscribed and like this video if you found it helpful. Let me know if you've picked it up or if you plan on picking it up. But in the meantime, go ahead, pick up a kit that is in your price range and start building.